Hey y'all, we're on the road 553 headed to we are headed to the conference in McMinnville. If any of y'all see this, you still if you're within a couple hours, 3 hours, you got time to get there. I don't expect too many people to be on. Don't get my double chin. She windowed me, y'all.
At least it doesn't look like rain just yet. We're supposed to have it pretty bad.
What?
I was talking about the weather.
Oh yeah. It was supposed to be pouring down all the way, and then that front coming out of Oklahoma and Arkansas kind of dissipated, so it was like a 20% chance. So
Y'all can see our directions on there too, I guess.
yeah, so we're on the 64 highway to Shelbyville and on through to Tullahoma. Uh,
This is Walking Horse area.
yeah, show the barns and stuff.
Lots of barns, training facilities.
Yeah, Shelbyville, we're in Bedford County. We're not in Bedford County yet, but Shelbyville is famous for the Tennessee Walking Horse celebration. It's like the Super Bowl of that. I don't even know if they do it anywhere else. They probably do. People come from all over the world. Uh, it's a huge boost that week for their economy. We'll see.
David. Hey, David.
David who?
Looks like David.
She can't.
Hinton.
Hey, David, how's it going?
Sorry. Had to get my glasses adjusted.
Yeah, it's small on the phone screen. So you'll see some horse barns and farms on this road.
Chicken barns.
Chicken barns, yeah. Don't want to be downwind of a chicken barn on a hot day. But so this highway here is what always confused people. This 64, obviously, because it's a even number, runs east and west. Well, I'd have people come in our store looking for Highway 64, and I'd have to ask which one. Tennessee highways, well, I don't know. I guess the one might be, oh, they're both state, but they have two running east and west. One at exit 14 going across all the way to probably Chattanooga to the other way, Jackson, Tennessee, and this one that runs from Lewisburg, north of Lewisburg, to like Tullahoma. So, y'all, that's 2026, and there's still bad spots on main highways. It's crazy. But yeah, there's several Fayetteville, and the reason I would ask that, I ran into people going to Fayetteville, North Carolina, or Fayetteville, Arkansas. Same with Chapel Hill and other towns. One of the Well, what wasn't funny to the guy that happened to, but one morning it was dark. This trucker came in. I was just opened the store up, and he said, "How far is Mooresville?" I'm like, "That's only a couple miles." Okay, good. I'm early. So I looked out at his flatbed, long trailer, had two massive long poles that kind of telescope shape. Excuse me, and had some other stuff on there. I'm like, what are you taking to Mooresville? Because I grew up in Mooresville. It's like two churches, a little country store. There's 50 people that live in Mooresville.
That was chicken barn. Sorry, I missed it.
He said, "Oh, that's the signs post or the sign kit for the new Arby's that's going up there." I'm like, Arby's? I said that'd be like putting a McDonald's in Mayberry. I said they ain't got an Arby's. I said are you sure? He said, yeah. And he went and got his invoice or whatever, and he come back, and it said Mooresville TN, and but the phone number, the prefix, everything was wrong. I said, are you sure? That phone number is not from anything around here. And he looked confused a little bit, so he went out to the phone. It wasn't really a phone booth. There was a phone just outside the store there, and I heard him cussing somebody.
That was before you could Google area codes.
Yeah, it actually was a long time ago. And but see, the thing is, a dispatcher prints you out a sheet. That's their job. He had left Minnesota, y'all, drove all the way to Mooresville, Tennessee, and the dispatcher mistyped one letter and
Indiana.
put T in instead of I in, and he was sitting down there in Mooresville. So then he was like, he had to check it out. I said, listen, if you turn, he said, if you turn, I said, if you turn there at the store and go down that road or whatever, I said, you better turn around that back church parking lot or you will not get out. Boy, he was so mad. It's just one letter, one typo. I think he had to deliver it like 9 o'clock. So he was a long ways away. Y'all, I'm gonna take some video footage.
Naya?
Who?
Naya? Am I pronouncing that right?
Hello. We're headed to the Tennessee Wildman Conference, Crypticon, over in McMinnville, Tennessee. We've got to be there by 8 to set up. It starts at 9. So if anybody is close by, go check it out. It's a fun time. And there'll be a lot of Bigfoot people, researchers, M.K. Davis, Kumbo, I think Sasquatch Theory, Miguel is going to be there, Harley Owens, Daryl Denton, and several more that y'all know. It's a good chance to meet people, shake their hands, and get to know them.
And it's going on till 6.
Yeah, later tonight, so you don't have to be there right at 9. There's an old chicken barn there.
Yeah.
And the reason all these chicken barns are around because Tyson has a plant in Bedford County, and
Which is what we're in now.
yeah, 25 years ago, that plant made the national news for not good reasons. I won't. That's a campfire story I can tell. I don't want to put it out there, but you can look up Tyson plant in Shelbyville back then and see what happened. It was terrible. But I'll just give you a hint. It was while 911 was happening. So
There was a lot of boycotting Tyson for
there
a
was
long time.
there was a lot of people. I don't know if we can use that word, boycott. Um, but there's a lot of people were cheering as the buildings fell. I'll just put it that way.
There's another horse barn. A lot of them are nice and fancy, fixed up. Some of them not so much.
Yeah, the celebration was huge forever. A lot of money. Like if your walking horse won the celebration back when I was a kid. That horse became a lottery ticket because everybody wanted that horse to breed their horses, and of course they would sell, whatever for that. It become a, you become a millionaire if you wasn't already overnight, basically. But there was some controversy on some people cheating and how they were training the horses. There's a thing they call soaring them, make their legs or shins or whatever sore. And there's a few people got in trouble, and it kind of killed it for a little while, but it's made a comeback, and I assume everybody's doing it correctly now. How many people we got watching too? One.
4.
Hey, everybody. Who else has said anything? Anybody?
Nope. Everybody's quiet.
They're,
It's still early.
probably hadn't had their coffee yet. But we'll, you always, when we go riding, I don't care if you're where we're at, you go north, you're going to cross the Duck River somewhere. Go east and west, you're going to cross it 80 times each way. But we're going to cross it here
Thomas
in Shelbyville.
Atkins. Hey.
Hey, good morning.
I'm here too, Heather. The better half.
Yeah. But we're passing all kind of horse farms. Some of them are off the road, walking north. But we're going to come into Shelbyville and hope traffic shouldn't be too bad. Lori's up. Are they, who'd you say? I thought you said Lori Barnes. They came up last year.
Corn.
Oh, they came up last year. I can't hear y'all. And we had to make sure and bring our sunglasses because heading east this early, these roads is terrible. It's hard to see.
Hey.
Who?
He said, hey, better half.
So, this county here, I don't know how many official Bigfoot reports there are, but I've taken a few personally, just randomly, having a Bigfoot hat or jacket or something on. And this lady asked me one time, I was carrying her to a doctor's appointment with my former job, and
Thank you.
she was like, why you got that Bigfoot on your, sleeve? And I told her, and she said, she said, can they be different colors? And this lady was about my age. I said, yeah, they, you know, cinnamon, brown, black, even white ones. And she said, white ones? I said, yes. I said, there's a real famous incident happened south of here about 40 miles. And then you got the Alabama white thing. I said, and I knew I could hear the gears turning in her head. She said, my grandma told us one time, so she lived in Bedford County, which is where we're at now. And she looked out the back window at the sink in the kitchen, and there was something at the pond, and it was white, and she couldn't tell what it was. And she kept looking at it, and she said it was reaching in the water, and it was drinking water, but like it had hands. And all of a sudden, it stood up, and she said it walked off on two legs, and said it was really big, and they had no idea what it was. She said, so you saying that's possible? Could have been a Bigfoot? I said, well, what did she think it could be? And she said she had no idea. I'm like, well, you can't say it was one, but can't say it wasn't. Quote Billy Schilling. But we don't know what it was, but we know what it wasn't. There's a farm here, and I always ask the question because all these horse farmers and they have all these places to train. Um, they drive these, expensive trucks and have the trailers, and I don't know if there's money in horses or you have to have money to be in the horses. Probably both.
If you're doing it right, anything makes money.
I guess.
I'm not too sure that one made it. That one's kind of.
Well, it looks like it's gonna be a pretty sunrise though.
Hopefully, if those dark clouds don't move in before.
There's another lady that used to live over here, and there's a place. There's Weiser Farm. They're making a comeback. It got kind of rough there for a little while. I was carrying her to get her groceries. She actually lives where my mom does now, And we were talking about it one day, just us on the van. And she said, Roger, are they real? I'm like, oh, they're definitely real. I mean, I've seen them with my own eyes. And she said, huh? I said, what is it? She said, my ex-husband fishing at the Bedford Lake one day. Said he liked to drink beer, go fishing. He said he come home all excited and scared and tore up. And she asked him what was wrong, and he said, I was fishing on. It would be, I guess you pull up over there on the first bank. It's hard to get to the other side in a boat. And he said he saw a Bigfoot walking on the other side. It's not a huge lake, and swore up and down it was plain as day a Bigfoot. She said, Roger, I thought he was crazy. I gave him heck over that and deer over there.
I don't know if y'all can see him.
She said, I always thought he was crazy and just was drunk or something. I'm like, well, you go by people's reactions. I said, that sounds like a legit reaction to me. Welcome to Shelbyville. And if anybody pronounces it Shelbyville, you know I'm from Shelbyville.
Shelbyville.
Shedville, Shovel, Fayetteville. Heather pronounces it right. She's not from here. She's from Florida. So
I
that's a
do
pretty
say
old house.
Shelbyville most of the time.
That
It
would be
took me a
cool.
while.
I was talking about the house. I have to be careful. They have the speed limits really low over here. This was one of the hardest towns I had to learn. I worked for the lottery. I had over half of my stores were in this county. I had 4 counties and 50, like 55 of them, 52, 55, depending, were in this county. And there are stores everywhere. And the side streets are weird.
I'm trying not to make y'all sick watching.
There's we should have good signal most of the everywhere.
I don't know. Some of those roads get way back.
We're about to cross the Duck River. The river gets up so bad here. There's levees. They have gates. They can shut the gates.
There
There's
used to be a lot of people go fishing there. Some people have not made it there because they think they can go swimming. Well, it's hard to see down
and
through
here's the gates they shut. They don't have to do it much, but when they do, it it's needed because the town got flooded out many times in the past. This the Shelbyville Square, Shovel City Hall, and their
They got a
their square is
pretty big square.
y'all. This square right here, me and my daughter was in an episode on A&E. We were extras. We sat over here. There was a coffee house, and the director told us to act like we're drinking coffee. They did that film or that show Big Schmo. I don't, probably not a lot of people watched it, but he's from this county. I met him several times. He's over in Unionville, and he did a lot of hip hop, country rap. And he's born again and lost a bunch of weight. He almost died. Um, he was just doing things he shouldn't, and I'm glad to see him get, cleaned up and everything. He's doing kind of like gospel music. I hadn't heard any yet, but I've seen him on Facebook. But yeah, we were on that episode, and then me and my son was on the episode because they needed people for a shot in Chapel Hill, Tennessee later that night, and we went down, and it was fun to watch how they do it. It's a simple process. We had to sign a waiver both times, and I ruined the shot being goofy, and the cameraman got mad at me, but everybody else was laughing, so that was worth it to me.
Their square here is one way. Ours is one way. A lot of them around here, you can travel both directions, which it makes it nice when you want to just skip on across. But
Yeah, they this here and Shelbyville and Lewisburg were, if y'all have ever used uh, those Uniball ink pens or number two pencils in school back in the day, uh, there a lot of those were made either in Lewisburg or over here. So y'all probably use products that's from this area. There was Moon Pencil over there, and then over here there's um, there was several. There were several. Man, they built that store right there. They built a nice store in this part of town. That's
here's the
crazy.
sun fixing to pop out.
Yeah. So I'll give y'all a little tidbits info as we go. If we can,
You see the glow?
so not too far from here, we won't pass it. But if any of you have ever seen George Dickel Tennessee whiskey, it's made in Cascade Hollow over here. Beautiful hollow. Um, it's a smaller distillery, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Some people may come off the top rope on me on this one, but the George to me is better than the Jack Daniels, and I don't drink much anymore. I like good stuff every now and then. And some of Jack Daniels special releases, and they're really good, but they I don't want to get into the whole process of when everything changed, but the government got involved and kind of messed things up. That's why a lot of y'all's favorite bourbons and whiskeys flavors changed back in the '90s. But uh, yeah, George Dickel's is I think it's a good one. I have some that's like 13 years old. It's pretty good. A lot of people are like, it has a vitamin E taste and all this. And we used to go to, if y'all look up Bourbon Blind on YouTube, that's my buddy's channel. I was on like 3 episodes, but we tested and tasted blind. We didn't know what it was, and would rate it and all that. Well, George Dickel, it finally hit me. Uh, yeah, it finally hit me that what I was tasting. And to me, you ever tasted corn nuts? You know, the bags of corn nuts, real crunchy. Well, if they take their corn, I was thinking, if they take their corn and toast it, it would give it that flavor. And I talked to the master distiller one time, and of course they won't give any secrets out. They'll grin though and look at you like, I don't, you know, I didn't get that confirmed, but I did talk to the person who could confirm it. Y'all know I ain't shy. I'll bust up in there and talk to anybody.
All right, look at that
Put your
sunshine.
sunglasses on, y'all.
Woo-hoo. It doesn't look as big here, but it is big and bright.
Yep, get the sunglasses on.
Beautiful.
Gotta make sure I'm doing the right speed limit.
Yes.
Oh, I know where it's gonna take us. We're gonna go through War Trace. War Trace is a neat little railroad town. We could go right, but there's not a nickel's worth of difference between the two. If you go that road to the right, 64, it comes. There's a place called AEDC, and I hadn't talked about this in a while, but that's a military base, and they have trains coming in and out, so you can't really put a gate on a train track. So I talked to a man that I worked with. He was close to 70 years old. He said he's probably 70 now. When I got that job, and I just went and told him about my show and all, you need to talk to Jimmy. And I'm like, why? Jimmy swears he saw a Bigfoot. I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to talk to Jimmy. So I went to him. I said, I was told I need to talk to you about Bigfoot. And he looked at me. He didn't know. He said, yeah. He said, I usually don't talk about that because everybody laughs. I said, well, I ain't going to laugh because I've seen them too. And he looked at me like, what? I'm like, yeah. I said, tell me what happened. So it was him and three other military members. It was their night to guard the tracks, and they had a station set up for single. There was four of them, so each man was in the thing. And he said the bad part was they didn't even give them live ammo, and they had blanks and everything. So I don't know how you guard and stuff like that, but he said full moon, eyes were adjusted to the dark, no lights, and he heard something on the tracks, and he looked over. He said there was a big female um, Bigfoot walking in the center, and he couldn't believe what he was seeing. And then he noticed that there was a baby, and I said, "Well, how was she holding the baby?" And he rocked back a little bit, and he was thinking. I'm like, "Yeah, this guy's telling the truth." He said, "I guess I've been telling it wrong all these years." He said she wasn't really carrying it, was what he was saying. He said the baby was latched on to her, so it was holding on to the shoulder area and everything. He said, I don't know whether she smelt us or what, but she looked over right at me and then immediately went off the other side of the tracks and disappeared. And then the other guys, he didn't know if they saw it or not. The other guys were come out of their, I don't know what they call little buildings, or I don't know if they had little whatever. I might have been in foxholes, who knows. So they're like, did y'all just see that? So yeah. I said, what in the world? And Jimmy's like, it was right here in front of me. It was a damn Bigfoot, and it had a baby, and that's what I saw. And I'm like, what do we do? Do we go back and report this? And Jimmy was like, y'all do whatever you want to, but I ain't saying nothing to nobody. And so they decided as a group not to report it. And there you go. Credible Bigfoot sighting, female with a baby, four military members, never told anybody in, on the base. So there's reports from over that way. There might even be some BFR reports or whatever. But it's called AEDC. That's the initials. It's I don't really know really aero engine dynamic. I don't know. It's something you have to look it up. Give y'all some homework. But that's over this way. This little town of Wartrade. These hills, and it's such a pretty. The back country is pretty. Um, Side note: we lived on the second highest point in Marshall County for 20 years, and from my mom and dad's front deck, you could see there's a hill over here they call Horse Mountain, and you could see it. I don't know, up on that hill, probably as a crow flies, 30 miles away or more.
There was a crow on the side of the street.
You had crows just hanging out on the side of the road. Now, Bell Buckle is to the west of us. That's a neat little town. If you ever get to Middle Tennessee and you like um, country cooking, festivals, different types of festivals. You've seen it in movies and music videos, but they cover up the store signs. Uh, one of the last times I ever entered a race, I used to jog. It was the 10-mile RC Cola Moon Pie Festival over there. And at the end of that 10 miles, I was like, what am I doing? And they took my chip off my shoe, and I went straight to the hospitality tent, and I got donuts, sausage and biscuits, honey buns, Sundrop. I was loading up. I was starving. And that was the end of my running career. That was my last one, but I made it. So
Thomas said, "Yeah, 10-4, old buddy. Watch out for old Smokey Highway Patrol. Over and out, Jay Bird."
that's for dang sure. I don't think there are any plain brown rappers over here, but and then Portrays might only have one police officer coming in, but you definitely have to slow down. That's another thing, y'all. If you come to Tennessee and you come into a city limits like this, I'm doing 18 miles over the speed limit. They will wear you out. In Cornersville, where we live, at one time, 30 years ago, was listed on the internet. It's crazy to say 30 years ago in the internet. 25 years ago, maybe. um,
Oh, that's a big boy tractor.
you, it was known as the number one speed trap in the whole entire country. I mean, people exaggerate. All right, this hotel right here was on Tennessee Wraith Chasers. They were investigating live. If y'all go watch them, they were set up in the park here. My buddy James from Louisiana, he was their tech guy. We become friends, and he, uh, he has a radio show. If you go back to original Squatch and Holler page or channel, one of my first interviews I did with him, and he used to have watch parties for mountain men and stuff. He was kind of an influencer guy on Twitter for the shows where he keep people engaged and all that. It was fun.
And it's horrible if you're coming through this town and that railroad track we just crossed. If they're having trouble with the train, they've got it stopped. There is no way around that
No.
boy. You are stuck sitting there, sitting
Yeah,
there, sitting
and
there.
and the when I worked for the lottery, the guy at that store we just passed, the owner, he was a good guy. He's one of my buddies, and he had a heart attack one day. Me and Heather was at a conference or something. We're on vacation. We're on vacation. We're in Gatlinburg or Florida or somewhere, and he had a heart attack there at the store, and the train had stopped, blocking all traffic, and the ambulance couldn't get to him, and he died before um, they could get him to the hospital. They had, the ambulance had to sit there and wait forever, and that's not good. Maybe they could have saved him. More than likely, they could have. Uh, and he heals.
Look at that. That's pretty wild.
I couldn't see it.
I didn't want you to see it. You're supposed to be watching for it.
Yeah, there's some beautiful farms over
Dead
here.
spot. Sorry. Can you hear us now?
Even though there's some nice houses up close to the highway here, um, still pretty rural as our surrounding area. And if you go directly south from here, probably you'll end up around Flintville area where the Flintville monster situation happened in the late 70s.
Good deal, thank you.
Old Silo. The big house up on that hill. You know, when the entranceway probably costs more than my house does, there's probably a big house up on it.
All these hills.
Look at this, y'all.
The sunset.
Look at this valley here, y'all.
It's a neat place sitting up there also on the hill.
There's another chicken barn. There's 4 of them.
It's silos upright.
They got plenty of dump trucks. What is this? Is this a, I don't know. They're still in business.
They might haul grain with them or
Yeah.
corn. Well, corn would be kind of the same thing. Silage maybe. Which is chopped up corn. Everything. Stalk, everything.
Stinks.
It has to ferment.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah,
But the cows love it.
I don't mind the smell much. I guess growing up, I had a silo, a ground one, probably a tenth of a mile from our house, and I used to hunt across the road from it. I kind of got, if you like the old barrel houses in these distilleries, it kind of reminds you of that. Some people say it stinks. I can see, and I have smelled it at times where it is. So it could be depending on what part of the process it's in. This is Fairfield, unincorporated. Probably 10 people live here. I mean, I don't know, but that's what it usually is.
40 miles an hour.
Yep. Well, I'm doing 40 something. That counts, don't it? Look at that weird looking house. I mean, that's a garage. That's like a
shop.
6-car garage.
The house was probably 800 square foot.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Curvy road. Hope it don't make y'all sick.
I had a buddy moved down from Michigan. He was an electrician. He started out with Ford years ago up in Michigan, and then switched over to GM. And he had all kind of different cool cars, Cobras and Corvette, Lightning truck. He had like 25 or 30 at one point. I bought my '69 Roadrunner from him, and it was a 4-speed manual 383. That thing would fly. It had been. He went in the engine and changed the cam, and had a big high-rise intake, a Holly 4-barrel on it. I think it might have been a 750. But only reason he sold it to me, he didn't have enough room in his buildings for some new cars and trucks he bought. And I ended up getting a Cobra Mustang from him, one of my most favorite cars ever. Um, he had put a completely new engine, drivetrain in that. It didn't have many miles on it. It had an issue. It had a fire, and he went through it, fixed everything. It wasn't a bad fire, but he used to love. He's passed away now, but he used to love to ride these roads. He's like, man, these roads are so much better than where I come from.
Look at the pretty scene, the fog rising. That sunset is gorgeous. Sunrise, sorry.
Would you say sunset?
Yeah, it's too early.
We ain't had coffee.
I know.
I'm gonna have that out.
You were supposed to make it this morning.
Yeah, we'll get it.
It shows we've got 6 viewers. 6 still out there hanging out.
Good morning, everybody. Greg and Wanda and Abby left last night. They got a hotel room. They're already there. Kumbo got there last night in a hotel room.
They said it was pouring.
It was raining when they were there, but all that's cleared out now. You know, it's surprising. You go to some of these conferences and see how many people's there, and then this is like the 3rd or 4th year for this one, and it's grown every year. It's gotten bigger, and it's probably because people like us and Woodwalkers and other shows talking about it. I don't. There's a list of people, and Randy contacted me. I didn't get to go the first year, and they moved it to his hometown. I'm thinking, and he wanted a lot of Tennessee people, as much as he could get, and he invited us. Man, look at that.
Big fancy houses. Pretty rolling farmland, really. Wow, look at that one up there.
Is that an old one or new?
It's not new. Where did you?
Look at this one here. I would hate to be the person that mowed that.
Something going on. They got a bunch of
You're missing this
trailers.
over here.
It's too much to eat.
We're about to hit the interstate. Now
We're in Coffee County.
Yeah.
Where I need some coffee.
I hope the traffic ain't crazy, because they ain't never a good time building these. Nashville's grown so much in the past 20 years.
Getting on 24. Interstate 24.
If you continue, we'll get off way before, but if you continue on 24, you'll go over Mont Eagle Mountain.
Into Chattanooga.
It's fun. I say that with a smirk. The bad part about it is it's so steep up and down. It was one of the first places I ever saw the runoffs for the trucks, the sand pits, and some of them are still there, where they were going so fast they run out of runway, I guess. Oh, it's 6:30 in the morning, and there's people everywhere.
It's 6:39. It says we'll make it there. It's 7:28 if everything goes good. Still plenty of time before they open the doors. 80 miles right now from Chattanooga. Thankfully, we ain't going that far.
It's in Manchester, 14. I know the interstate's quicker, but I like traveling the side roads. You see more old farms and stuff. We've traveled the back roads all the way through Florida, uh, Kansas, Wyoming. Uh, we stayed on the interstate in Colorado. Well, we went the south when we went through the first time. We went through Pueblo.
He won't do it, Thomas. He
What?
rides the back road, flying through those, and gets on interstate and creeps. He says, "Smash that skinny pedal."
I smashed it a little bit. I can't afford a speeding ticket. That's a big motivator. This field over here.
The sunset still.
Yeah, 24 is one of those
Right.
interstates that's kind of weird. It's got a even number. It does run east and west, but it runs diagonal across the state. So if you're coming through to Chattanooga, you're heading southeast, and that confuses a lot of people. But it slants across the state. Little Toyota.
He's all over the road.
Yeah, he's probably drinking his coffee, eating a sausage and biscuit. Used to, when I was a dispatcher, I would run the interstate. See, somebody's pulled over up here. I would run the interstates a little faster certain times of the night or early in the morning because I knew the troopers were on call all night. But it seems like nowadays they're out more. He already got him a ticket this morning.
Poor thing. Looks like a little clown car. He probably
Yep.
bought that to have better gas mileage. And he might be getting a ticket.
And I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all, Tennessee state troopers are like Bigfoot. If you see one, you bet there's some more sitting around hiding because people see one. Now, what are odds of another being? They'll hammer down and bam, they're on the other side of these bushes up here.
Well, they always radio ahead. This one came by me, get him.
Yep. I'll never forget that day. I was young, real young. Daddy was driving through here, and there were two troopers. They were probably back then. They were probably driving them Chrysler with 440s in them. They were sitting in the median, and they had a bologna, cheese, and crackers from an old country store out on wax paper on the hood, and they were eating lunch. You out in the country when you see that. Oh, antique mall, can't stop. So over this way, if you go north a little ways, you'll come into a lot of waterfalls. Cummins Falls, Fall Creek Falls. There's a bunch of them, and I can't remember the name right now. But this area is, uh, if you head from Middle Tennessee to East Tennessee, you'll, if you pay attention, you'll start up like this. Not right here, but on 40, you'll start up and you're gradually going up. You'll get up. There's George Dickel Distillery exit. Um, you get up on the plateau. Well, up on the plateau, when the creeks, there's all these canyons and stuff. It's kind of neat. If you've ever seen the fireworks exit on some movies, it's massive. It used to be on 24 here. I'm sure it's still there. But there's a few movies I've seen them. They do scenes out in the parking lot. Used used to would get off right there and get on here. If we'd have kept going the way we were going earlier, we'd have jumped on right here. I just saw a sign for Ruby Falls, y'all. And I kind of miss the old barns. There's very few of them now. They used to be everywhere. It said they were painted red with a black roof and Sea Rock City painted on it.
Ruby Falls.
Ruby Falls. Ruby Falls is fun if you ever get a chance to go over there. It's in the same area. You can go to Rock City and Ruby Falls and all that. It's really fun area. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Or and of course you continue to Chattanooga, you'll actually go through Georgia for just a handful of miles because this 24 dips into Georgia, and that's where people buy their gas usually because Georgia's taxes are cheaper. They used to be. Big difference in the gas prices over than there are in Middle Tennessee because of the competition. The gas company we dealt with had at that time had 172 other stores, and a bunch of them are over here. And we asked them why they sold it cheaper. He said they had to compete with Georgia, but that's why Middle Tennessee was so expensive, is because they made their money up over here. So we were paying, the people over here were getting discounts and we were paying extra, which that's kind of crappy. But if you live in a state and some of the counties are cheaper, but if you see an area that's cheaper than normal, uh, you can bet your tail that they're making it up somewhere else. If you live 2 counties over, you may be paying for everybody else's discount because they're not going to lose money. That's one thing for sure. And everybody about, oh, what if we all didn't drive for a week? What if we don't drive for a week and they lose that money? Maybe they'll come down on price. No, that's not how it works. If the whole country drive for 2 weeks, they would figure how much money they missed out on, and that $3 gas, when you go to fill up the next time, is going to be $8, and they're going to keep it that way until they make their money up, and then they'll come back down. They've got you because you have to have it. And I'm not on their side. I would fought with them over pennies. We got 5 cents a gallon, no matter what. So we always. We got to stop because I got pee. She whispered it.
You're rude.
You got to be real on here, nigga.
You ain't got to tell everything.
Y'all didn't get any hats made. They're too freaking expensive. I got a Squatch and Holler hat I had made a couple years ago. Peyton had it. Trigger, I had 3 for me personal use, and Trigger decided I didn't need them and tore them up. We're gonna stop at the Circle K. Grab us coffee. I want black. I'm gonna have to go to the restroom too. Rock Island State Park, 37 miles. Cumberland Cabin, 30 miles. We've rode around over in here a bunch, and some of these waterfalls, I had no idea we had stuff like that in Tennessee growing up. We just never did get out. All right, so let me see if I can read some of the comments, y'all. Hold on. Huh? Oh. Could jam on some music and get kicked off here. That's one thing I've learned traveling. Some places look exactly the same with the same stores, the same malls. We went to a mall in Cincinnati, it was the same thing we had it down here. It's like, so that's why I like nature. Truly unique. Get you firewood. Well, y'all, we're probably going to get off here. And what I'm going to do is I'll take footage throughout the day and put that together for everybody. So, y'all, thanks for stopping in. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, Tennessee, you get in these hills, you're talking about dead spots. There are random dead spots. Well, I used to live in one, and they finally got that fixed, but it took a long time. All right, y'all, 59:59, hour in. We will talk to you later. Bye bye.